All right, let's get back to that breaking news at this hour. We've been updating you throughout the last 35 minutes or so. A partial building collapse. This is happening in the Morris Heights section of the Bronx. Take a look at the Citizen app video. The entire corner of that building has come down. It is just a pile of debris at this point.
Yeah, the fire department telling us the call came in just after 3:30 at this building at the corner of West Burnside Avenue and Billingsly Terrace. We do, I believe, have FDNY Fire Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh on the phone with us. Laura, can you hear us?
I can.
Hello, Laura. Thank you so much for being with us, Commissioner. Can you tell us what you know about this building so far?
Yeah, so this is very preliminary. This is a very active scene. But what we know right now is this is a private dwelling. We don't believe there's any active construction going on at the time. And right now, we have no patients with EMS, but we will presume that there are people under that rubble until we eliminate that possibility. So we have our firefighters, literally working by hand to uncover that pile. We have our dogs searching on the pile to help us find hits. And we have EMS and paramedics standing at the ready to pull anybody out. So we don't know for sure anybody's under there, but we always operate under the assumption in an occupied building like this one that there could be until we eliminate that possibility.
Commissioner, can you confirm for us that there's a bodega that was operating on the ground level of this building?
I can't confirm that. I haven't seen that, but it doesn't mean it's not the case. I just have not seen that in my reports.
Commissioner, looking at the pictures, this looks like a multi-use building. Shirley saying a bodega possibly at the bottom of the building, and then residential above. Can you give us any idea about the history of this building?
So we've done a basic check, and we do not have, any active work permits, no outstanding violations related to the integrity of the building. So right now, we don't know why this would have happened. Obviously, that is under active investigation as we do our rescue operations. DOB is on scene, and they will be looking into that right away.
Okay, in a situation like this, where this is just developing here and this is unfolding by the minute, what are the next steps here in terms of shoring up the building, figuring out who's may still be in there, who sadly may be under this rubble? What are the next steps here in a situation like this?
So right now, our sole focus is on life. So we are looking every 911 call that might come in saying that somebody's missing, anyone on scene who says that they saw someone in the building, that the building was occupied, commercial or residential. Our members are going to be uncovering that rubble, going through it best they can, given the stability issues, working with our dogs to try to locate victims until that possibility is eliminated. Once we're done with our active work, we will then hand it over to DOB to find out more about what happened with this building and what the integrity of the rest of the building might be like.
All right, Commissioner, you mentioned it right there. Obviously, the integrity of this building is very important right now. There could be multiple residents in that area. What would you want to say to people right now who may be in an adjoining building or, in that area pretty frequently?
Well, if they're in that building, they'll be getting instructions for evacuation from our members. If they're in an adjoining building, I would say that, you're best safe inside your building until all is clear. Gives us space to move and do our operations and try to find anybody if there is anybody under that rubble.
Okay, Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh, I know you are very busy right now at this point. So many FDNY crews are on scene. We thank you for taking the time to speak with us and update our viewers and giving us the very latest information. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's get right out to Pix 11's Anthony DiLorenzo. He has just arrived on scene. Anthony, what can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well, first and foremost, ladies, the entire area is closed off as this is an active search, as you just heard from the commissioner, for any potential victims here. I also heard you asking whether there was a deli on the bottom floor of the 6-story residential building, and I just spoke with a neighboring business. He did tell me that there was an open deli there, in fact, during the time of this collapse. It's unclear if anyone was in, because this is promising news. He tells me they all heard loud cracking noises coming from this building. And he says there was, in fact, some type of worker. There's scaffolding all around this building. And there was a worker on top of the scaffolding or near the scaffolding, and they started to hear loud cracking noises. He jumped to an adjoining area to try and get away. And then about 60 seconds, 2 minutes later, That's when this witness says the entire building side came crashing down all 6 floors from the top to the bottom, just the corner side of this building. So you can see inside of 6 rooms stacked on top of each other. Of course, people's furniture, toys, whatnot. These are people's homes. So it's unclear if anyone was actually in there, because it does appear there was some warning right before the side of this building came crashing down. Like I said, 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, because those cracking noises were so loud. They were concerned that something bad was about to happen and started yelling for people to get out of the building. So we have not learned of any casualties at this point. Again, we just saw a canine going in to search that rubble. As the commissioner said, they have their drone flying above this. They've got 2 tower ladders on the side of this building from above, using flashlights, looking inside apartments to see if there's possibly anyone trapped inside of the rooms that were not compromised. But they also closed down a section of the street, urging neighboring businesses to evacuate as well, for concern that this building might further collapse. They are not satisfied just yet that the structural integrity is sound, so they are keeping people cordoned back at this point. So the scene is not frantic whatsoever right now. It's pretty methodical. Lots of fire personnel standing around this building while the search continues.
Anthony, Arnie here. From where you're at, I know you're a little bit ways from the actual building collapse. Can you give us an idea of how traffic is being diverted? Because if people aren't allowed in that area, what street are you on exactly? We're looking at a map right now.
So the area is just closed off in every direction. I wouldn't suggest coming anywhere near anything you see on the map, because they've got streets closed down. Traffic is not moving. To get here to the building scene, I actually had to park and walk a few minutes. So even traffic coming off of 87 is this exit 8 is closed off. There's police closing that exit because this is right off of 87. So there's no one coming onto the neighborhood right here from the highway because they want to limit activity from vehicles in this area as well.
Anthony, these images are absolutely harrowing. And although it's just one corner of this building, it's a fairly large building. Do you know if there's anyone still inside? What has the evacuation process been like? Are neighboring buildings being evacuated? What can you tell us?
Yeah, when I was speaking to that witness before I spoke to you, the police came in and told us that we all had to leave the adjacent buildings right across the street from the collapse, again, because they were fearful that more parts of this building could possibly come down. They haven't secured it any means at this point. And I also mentioned that they've got the drone up, looking inside, looking down into the rubble. They've got flashlights peering into the windows from above on the tower ladders as well to see if there's anyone inside any apartments in this building. But I was not here for the actual evacuation because, like we said, there was possibly a little bit of advanced warning to tell people to get out. Also, this happened in the mid-afternoon, so hopefully people were at work or at school, and it wasn't really densely occupied at the time that it came down.
Yeah, we can certainly only hope so that